We can dance if we want to, we can leave your friends behind. Cause your friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, well they're no friends of mine. See, we can go where we want to, places they will never find. And we can act like we come from out of this world, leave the real one far behind. We can dance.
What you say?
We can go if we want to, night is young and so am I. And we can dress real neat from our hearts to our feet and surprise them with a victory cry. Say, we can act if we want to, if we don't nobody will. And you can act real rude and totally removed, and I can act like an imbecile. Say, we can dance, everything's out of control. We can dance, we're doing it from pole to pole. We can dance, everybody look at your hands. We can dance, everybody's taking the chance. Safe to dance, oh it's safe to dance. Yes, it's safe to dance. We can dance if we want to, we've got all your life in mind. As long as we abuse it, never gonna lose it, everything will work out right. I say, we can dance if we want to, we can leave your friends behind. Because your friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, well they're no friends of mine. I say, we can dance, everything's out of control. But we can dance, we're doing it from pole to pole. But we can dance, everybody look at your hands. We can dance, everybody's taking a chance. Well, it's safe to dance. Yes, it's safe to dance. Well, it's safe to dance. Well, it's safe to dance. Yes, it's safe to dance. It's safe to dance. Yeah. Well, it's safe to dance. It's safe to dance. Oh, 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 it's safe to dance.
What's up, YouTube, man? Your boy Coach B back for some October love, man. Happy Scorpio season to all my coaches, all my viewers, all my subscribers. So before I get into what I'm going to talk about today, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to anything you like. I do a lot of double wing content. This being, I haven't done a video in a little while. It's giving you guys some, you guys are obviously working on your own programs. So good luck to everybody that's out there as far as what you got going on with the double wing. I've been hearing back from a lot of coaches every week who have kind of bought into the system and like what I do, and all good feedback, man. I've been hearing a lot of good things. Some people lost some games here and there, and some people having some trouble, but it's like these are growing pains. Like, you don't just install this stuff and then just immediately it's perfected. So it is a work in progress. So by you guys educating yourself here at this channel, you already tell me, well, you know what the hell's going on. So with no further ado, as you saw in the intro video, today is going to be all about the most devastating sweep out of the Gunwing package, which is called the Trojan Sweep. Now, I do not take credit for Trojan Sweep. This is a Tim Murphy Shotgun Doublewing, basically like a staple of what he was doing. I had seen the play run at the high school level by Clayton Valley in Concord. I saw them run it against Napa, and I was there and I saw it, and I immediately was just enamored with how did he get so many guys in front of the running back. And like, it seemed like it happened in like an instant. So Trojan Sweep is one of those things that it's just one of those unstoppable plays. If you rep it and it's part of your system and it integrates in what you already do, because there's some critical things that once we get to the whiteboard, I'm going to talk about with Trojan. Like, Trojan is a sweep that just happens extremely fast. Like, a lot of you guys out there, I get a lot of questions about jet sweep, and I'll just give you my opinion on jet sweep. I'm not a big fan of jet sweep, because I kind of feel that jet sweep tells the other team like what you're going to do. Like, their first step is going to be correct, because they're going to step towards the jet sweep. How I use jet sweeps is I use fake jet sweeps, and I'll run a counter the opposite direction. I do that a lot because I know that a kid's first step on defense, if you're dealing with like youth teams, is going to be most likely towards that jet sweep direction. I mean, I've been in there, I'm an offensive coordinator, but I've been there during defensive practices, and I've seen our DCs tell these kids, hey, if you see they like to run jet sweep, and they see they run that stuff, step in that direction, okay? So the deal with Trojan Sweep is that it comes with no warning, and it comes from a set that you've been and that you should have been setting up with power and running power out of that same exact set. Your 0 line splits, everybody's really tightened in there, and then all of a sudden, boom, a sweep happens, okay? So once we get to the whiteboard stuff, I'll kind of go through the topics I'm going to talk to today, but I'm going to talk about just basically some keys of the Trojan Sweep to make sure your guys's that this play is literally one of your best plays. Because I had struggled with sweeps from UC Doublewing for a while. I was looking at some different toss sweeps and some ideas of just how I could, utilize sweep. And I think with sweeping, our motion sometimes, keys the other team which direction we're going to sweep in. Like when you ray motion that kid out, a lot of kids will float outside, so I just didn't find a whole lot of success in any of the UC Doublewing sweeps. So when I saw it in Gunwing, I just made it a part of my system and repped it until it was like amazing. So some of the things we're going to talk about with keys of getting your Trojan together is deep pulls, like fast with reckless abandon. We're going to talk about the split motion of the quarterback and the wing when they exchange the ball. We're going to be talking about some of your setups, how you should be like setting up Trojan. We're going to talk about cutting versus pulling. We're going to talk about the blocking scheme that it falls into, because it's not a specific Good God blocked play. It actually has nothing to do with Good God. It's its own blocking scheme. And then we're just going to finish up with some variations of Trojan. I do a Trojan keep. You saw in the intro video, there was a Trojan keep where my quarterback, basically the entire team, runs 27 Trojan, and he just keeps it. I'll really just show you that on the whiteboard and just tell you about when I use it. And then shout out to my boy, Coach Johnson, John Earl Johnson. I'm going to just show some stuff he's been doing with Trojan. I had wanted to do something similar to what he has now put into practice with the Trojan. And I'm just going to put it out there and just kind of show you guys, what he's doing with the Trojan Sweep. And, you never know. Maybe you guys can add it to like what you guys are doing. A lot of teams are different. Team complements and team makeups are different. If you have a QB that's real fast and you want to run Trojan and you just want to not run it, maybe you want to run it with your QB, you want to run a Wildcat version of Trojan, it's possible. And Coach Johnson, shout out to you, man. He got that done. And he's using it and said, literally, it's unstoppable. He said they run it all the time and nobody has figured out how to stop it. So let's just get into it. Let's just get right into it. All right, so the play I got on the board is my base Gun 27 Trojan Sweep. This is pretty much my fundamental sweep that I'll run from the Gunwing. This being my 2-back. This is how I number my backs: 2, 4, 1, and 3. So 3, when I'm UC, is my traditional left wing. He always stays my left wing. They never switch. 2 will always be on the right. 3 will always be on the left. Now, if I go gun left, that'll be the only time that my wing goes to the other side, and the backfield just flip-flops. So gun left will be the reverse of this. So I can basically run I could run a 26 Trojan Sweep if I go gun left, or I can just stay in this and I could run a gun 36 Trojan Sweep and have my 3-back running the sweep. Or in this base set, I would run a gun 27 Trojan Sweep. The reason I like this sweep as opposed to the 36 is because I set defenses up running power out of this same exact set. So what I have on the board is I wanted to kind of show you in the next upcoming steps that when I talk about cutting, I wanted to kind of show you guys a high pressure 6-2. This is like a 6-2 with traditional defensive ends. I'm going to move these kids in a minute, but you have basically 4 down linemen in the front over the heads up over the guards and the tackles. Some of you may see a defense like this, some won't, but this is like a traditional high pressure 6-2. So right off the bat, the first thing I want to talk about the type of pulls that you're going to be doing when this play initiates, okay? So they're not like power pulls. Power pulls are lateral and forward, eating up space, okay? The Trojan Sweep pulls, which we call Trojan pulls, are basically pulls designed to create distance and space, okay? So what you're looking for, everyone who's pulling, which I'm a gate puller, so on the backside, my guard and tight end are going to be pulling, okay? So when they pull, the guard is going to step basically to his 7, and he is just going to just move laterally and backwards till he gets about maybe 2.5 yards of depth. And then as soon as he rounds this corner, he's just going to turn it up, and he is eyes inside, okay? That applies to everybody, okay? So everybody that's pulling, even your 4-back is going to pull and gain a little bit of distance, okay? Running in their tracks, okay? And as soon as he gets to this point, he's eyes inside, okay? The gate puller, he's going to be quick because he's running with the 2-back. He gets in his he gets in his lane, and they just form this nice, precise line, eyes inside as they come around, okay? Because kids are going to be flowing, okay? Your guard here, he's just going to pull, get nice and deep, and he's going to be the first around the corner. He's going to get to here, eyes inside, okay? So your pulls are deep. They create space and distance, okay? Your 2-back just basically takes just a slight drop step, and then he just comes right down the pipe right here, okay? Gets a little bit of distance. It is an inside handoff, okay? So the next part we're going to talk about this is that now we got deep pulls, and you can see when they turn the corner, their eyes outside, okay? What I want to discuss is the split motion of the quarterback and wing. The reason this is such a good sweep is because, number one, by alignment only, when you step to the line and you're in gunwing, you are heavy to the right, okay? So they're automatically thinking that there is another power coming to the right, okay? Because you should be setting this up with power, okay? Which is my next point, but I won't get into that just now. But the reason this is a good idea with the split motion, do not have your wing back just drop and then run at your stationary quarterback, okay? Your quarterback, as soon as he gets the snap, needs to turn, okay, 90 degrees and start sprinting towards the 2-back. And they make the ball exchange right about here. And then as soon as he doesn't have the ball anymore, he comes out here and fakes, okay? That's a key part of Trojan, okay? Because if you don't do that, they'll just pursue. Okay, and you could get caught. If this guy just comes off the line, okay, that you have to send something backside to protect, the pullers and the 2-back from getting caught from behind, okay? And it does occasionally happen, okay? But you should be setting this kid up right here with so much power that he's just going to stand there for a second. And again, when he sees the quarterback running at him, it usually freezes this kid and this kid enough to where they're not going to chase the 2-back, okay? All right, so again, my third point is to set this up with power, okay? The critical block right here, okay, if we're running a Gun 27 Trojan Sweep, the critical block right here is the reach block, okay, that needs to happen by your play side tight end, okay? He needs to reach block this kid. So understand this defensive end in this conventional position is just one step outside, okay, of your tight end. Okay, because if he comes this tight, they're begging for a Trojan sweep. Okay, even though there's just a foot distance, the fact that he moves inside, or if they dare get heads up on your tight ends, okay, that's why I have my tight ends alert anytime they have a guy who's heads up on them. Okay, but if he lines up right here, this tight end's job is to reach block this kid. Okay, now your 3-back. He's already by alignment, already a little bit to the left of this scrum. He needs to have his eyes directly on this block that occurs, this tight end on this defensive end, okay? If the tight end gets there, but he doesn't get, let's say he doesn't get all of the defensive end, and the defensive end starts drifting out, like a little piece of his body starts drifting out this way, your 3-back needs to come straight down as he's watching this block happen And if he sees any bit of that defensive end, he needs to get leverage on him, outside leverage, and force him in, okay? And then the posse is pulling around that block, okay? This corner right here, if he blitzes, he needs to get run over by a guard, especially this guard right here. I'll usually tell this guard right here, since he's the first puller, you need to account for the corner. If he just stands there, run right at him. If he comes at you, run over him, okay? Now, how do you pull this many people and cut to prevent run-throughs? Okay, so I'm going to explain this right now. My whole offensive line has a rule that I repeat in practice when we're running Trojan. If you are not pulling, you are cutting, in my major pain voice. So, understand how I do my cuts. I don't shoot into kids' legs. I strategically cut so that we make a big mosh pit in this area, okay? So my center's rule, the only time his rule is not mama is on Trojan sweeps, and I call it mop. Man on, play side, okay? So you'll see what man on and then play side means and why this is so important, okay? So normally he would block, you block back, okay? But on this man on play side, because these kids don't concern me as much as the penetration of these kids. So by rule, he just simply crabs. He just makes a coffee table in the middle of the hole with his whole entire body. He just lays across this gap and puts his back up as high as he can get it. Now this guy, he does the same thing, okay? And he just comes across and just coffee table right in the middle of the gap. Okay? This guy is going to coffee table play side. Okay? There it is. Just taking out everybody. Okay? This guy, if this kid is fast enough to catch your two back, okay? If this kid right here is fast enough to catch your two back, and somehow he's going to have to go this way, which means he's going to have to jump over this kid, okay? If you do it right. Okay, so I just used 3 kids to take out essentially 4. And any backer that wants to decide they're going to try to just run through these gaps, or a backer comes down this way, they're going to have to cut through all of this crap going on, okay? So this play is also not good God blocked, okay? Sweep is the scheme. So when I teach my kids Trojan sweep, really all I talk about is we know the 2-man is getting the ball, 2-man. He's running to the 7-man, which is over here, 3-5-7. So he knows we're running left. And that's really how everybody on my line knows which way, who's pulling and who's not, because I gate pull. So these kids know on the backside they're pulling. And then because it's a Trojan sweep, it tells my guards are always pulling on Trojan sweep. So all they do is they listen to the call and they know which way we're going, whether it's going to be left or right. Okay? All right, so next, I think we could just go into some variations of Trojan, man. Now that I've kind of showed you a little thing, things about Trojan that I do. Now, I do also want you to understand that when you run it outside this way, when I run a 36 Trojan, every once in a while, I found a lot of success with 36 Trojan as well. And here's why. Because sometimes the wing is not regarded as on the line of scrimmage. So this kid lines up right here, and this kid would be normally responsible for the reach block. But what I have them do is I have the tight end attempt to get the reach block, and then I have my 2 come outside wide and then just slam down, okay? As everybody pulls the opposite direction, okay? So I find that having a wing over here sometimes almost guarantees you a successful reach block. Kind of like what you're doing out here with this tight end and the 3-back. You're just doing it the same way, but your pre-snap alignment is better to the right. Okay? I think the sweep works better as a 27 only because if you've been beating them up with power and setting them up, they should have a lot of kids that are in this general vicinity on defense, okay? Or at the snap of the ball, when they see this kid rocket this direction, okay, towards that way, it should at least make them consider that the 1-back may be keeping the ball, okay, and running that direction. And again, Good fakes. You have to have good fakes. To make your Trojans good, you have to have that fake on the backside. All right, so let's just get into some variations and then we'll close the video out. All right, next. Okay, so I know a lot of you guys have been seeing these 4-4 defenses. Typically, a lot of these, I've been hearing a lot of reports that you see in 4-4s with these two backers coming up like in the A gaps, just trying to like protect the middle. You can still run against that stuff, okay? Have your guys' domino squared away so that if you have to call domino, everyone's basically, center should be calling it. As soon as he gets a threat in this area and he sees multiple people that he can't block, call domino. Pretty much the whole play side of the line is going to be blocking down. But I'm not going to get away from gun 27 Trojan Sweep. If you get this look, okay, this right here, reach block, is now super simple, okay? You pin this guy off, okay? Everyone else is still cutting, okay? This is a cut. This is, you know, a crab. I mean, whatever you want to do. But you can pull outside of this. Now, the critical thing here is that this 3-back, once he sees that this is sealed, he's eyes on this block. If he sees that the tight end has it covered, he needs to come down and go directly to backer, okay? Directly. Don't let this kid run to you and let this kid pursue all the way up here, okay? Now, I told you I was going to teach you some variations of Trojan Sweep. So one of the things I see pretty, like a lot of the times, is that my quarterback will do really, really good fakes, okay? So I taught the kids a play. I mean, it's actually not really even, I mean, it's not even a play. I just attach a tag to it. I just change a simple part about the play. It's part of my system, and it's called Gun 27 Trojan Keep, okay? So I use this play when I see a lot of pursuit backside. Like if this kid, you know, just like drops down, like, you know, I know when they're going to do it, coach, blah, blah, blah. And these kids just like, you know, they see this puller. They see the kids pulling. You see the kids pulling. And they just chase, okay? You see all these pullers. And they just go, like all these kids go, okay? What happens is I just basically come here. We run a 27 Trojan, okay? And then the quarterback, instead of exchanging the ball, he just keeps it, okay? Gun 27 Trojan Keep. It's super simple. Yeah, it's like, you know, it's basically if you see this pursuit, you saw it in the highlight video. I've run it a couple of times. I think both times it was successful. We got yardage out of it just simply because I knew when to call it. So that was one of the, you know, one of the little changes that we made. So you can try that. Now, on to the last thing I want to talk about today. My boy, Coach Johnson, has been with me for a long time. And, you know, he's innovating, you know, his system. I know he's doing some pistol wing stuff now. So what he showed me was basically a Wildcat version. So like, we'll just call it Wildcat 17 Trojan Sweep. I don't know what he's calling it. He's from Virginia. So who knows what he's calling it. We'll just call it Wildcat 17 Trojan Sweep, okay? So basically what he's doing is he's essentially aligning in double tight, okay? I believe he said he's using a formation called wide, I believe. So I think his fullback is probably still over here. Yep. And then he's putting a kid like way out here, I believe, okay? So what he does is he lines a kid up over here and then over here, okay? And he sends this kid in jet motion. So this would be called laser in for me, okay? And he said he can snap to either one of these two kids, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, okay. So, but generally, he direct snaps to this kid right here, okay? And then he just, I don't know where he snaps the ball. And imagine when his wing gets to like maybe like right here, he snaps the ball, and then everyone just runs Trojan. So you have a reach block here. You have a cut. You have a deep pull and around the corner, eyes inside. You have another pull around the corner, getting your track, eyes inside. You have a cut, man on play side or wherever he needs to cut. You have a cut here. You have a fullback getting in his track. Eyes up. Tight end getting in his track. Boom. So this, to me, I would call this something. Let's just say he calls it Wildcat. So I would call this like, I don't know, Wildcat wide. That's what it would be to me. Wildcat wide, laser in, 17 Trojan Sweep. The laser in is here. I think you could do this with a stationary wing. Johnson's doing it with a little bit of this motion because, you know, he's just crazy like that. But I think you could do it with a stationary wing here. You could even start the laser out from here. You could just send this kid in high speed motion. I don't know if there's really a reason that Johnson's doing that, but this little I'm sorry. The direct snap goes to him. Okay, this would be your 3-back most likely, and this is just any kid you want to be in Wildcat. And then this kid, as soon as the snap happens, he's just running out here, and he's also becoming a blocker. Okay, so you're basically like pulling the whole team and sending the whole backfield around the corner, and you're doing so from a wide right set. Yeah, man, nasty. I love it. I like the creativity, man. I encourage that for all you guys. Like I said, Coach Johnson is a student of the game. He knows exactly what he's doing, and this is just something he's come across. So I hope you liked the video, man. Wing on, guys. Let's go.